Welcome Wargamers, this is Doug with 2 Plus Stuff, and today we are taking a good, hard look at the actual realm of Shyish itself as we conclude the Legions of Nagash week. Now that's not all the death content we have coming, but this is it for the week, to kind of focus in on the main aspects of death as an army and understanding them. As I said, today we're going to tackle the realm of death itself, Shyish, and what it's like, how it functions, what we've seen in stories, and more. Now, like all the realms, they embody a certain type of magic. These actually correspond to the 8 winds of magic we had in Warhammer Fantasy Battles. This one is death. And as such, sort of the typical view of Shyish is kind of dark ashen rocks, shallow graves. There's a lot of desolate wasteland type thing with a dark hue to it. Magical energies run rife. There's undead meandering around in the woods. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of danger and stuff like that. What we're going to do is kind of peel back the layers of what this realm is like, first from a perspective of a mortal, and then kind of dig into like what we know about how it actually functions. So say you were on the god level, like Sigmar's level, what he would see as it functions. If you haven't seen the Games Workshop video that explains how the realms work, which I will link to in the description down below, it gives you a great idea of what the realms look like, how they function. Basically, if you can imagine a continent floating almost in the void, right? Like a disc world type thing. And towards the edges, the far edges of that disc, is pure death energy. It makes it so uninhabitable that you can't really live there. As you go towards the center, it's much more stable, much more able to be built and prospered in. And so if you are immortal in the realm of death, you tend to live towards the center of the realm. Growing things in the earth is very hard. It's very inhospitable towards most life. So the people there are very hardy, right? They're very strong people who are survivalists. As with the other realms, it is connected to other realms and different means of transportation by realm gates, of which there are plenty in the realm of death. But what makes Shyish different from what we've seen is the number of pocket realms that it has. Now, what am I talking about? Well, if you read the Realm Gate War series, we know that when we found Alariel, she was in the realm of life, but in kind of like a hidden portion of it, right? A kind of a realm within a realm, a little pocket dimension, if you will. Well, Shyish actually expanded upon that, and there are hundreds of these things. It's almost like a freaking honeycomb. Okay, there's a lot going on here. And so as we kind of move away from the ordinary moral perspective and kind of zoom in on what it would be like, as a fuller understanding of what the realm is like, you need to understand how it operates. Societies all across the mortal realm, as we do here on Earth, have a different view of what happens to you when you die. In the mortal realms, however, by believing in something, it makes it true when it comes to the afterlife. By this I mean, if you hypothetically have a bunch of Vikings who believe in Valhalla, when one of them dies, they will go there. Why? Because their collective belief created it. A pocket dimension in Shyish opens up and takes the form of what the people believing in it see. You make your own afterlife, if you will. And we'll dig into that in a little bit here. But as your race or religion or whatever it is, as that kind of fades away, maybe your people evolve to different beliefs, or you're wiped off the map by chaos coming through, the setting that those souls are contained in, that pocket realm, will begin to fade, and they will assimilate back into the main realm of Shyish as spirit hosts and things like that. The reason I bring that up is because it makes Shyish seem like a much bigger place when it's juggling, possibly thousands of different pocket realms, and it's constantly creating new ones as, beliefs are created and evolved, and also fade away as believers in those things are wiped off the map and traditions are abandoned and things like that. So it's constant flux, but at the same time, it is also a very stable place. It has a certain look and feel. What's important to walk away is it is always the realm of death, but the flavor and how that appears to you can be different. And regardless of its appearance, it is a place of endings. It's always death through and through. I mean, it is not necessarily a grim place because some afterlives are very beautiful. There are several vibrant pocket realms or underworlds, however you want to use that term. I'll go over a few that actually caught my eye. Athanasia is a place of peace and enlightenment. There's a lot of light there, a lot of calm and stuff like that. So that's a great pocket realm to be a part of. Halost is the land of dead heroes, and they fight and resurrect to fight some more, much like the Valhalla experience that we talked about earlier. There's a pocket dimension specifically for thieves called the Latchkey Isle, and this is a mind-bogglingly complex labyrinth with guards and all that stuff like that. And this is like a thief heaven where each time you break in there and steal a treasure, the labyrinth evolves, so every heist is greater than the last, and it's just this perpetual thrilling feeling. And while everything I've talked about so far revolves around the afterlife for different societies, it is not only dead things that exist in Shyish. There are living mortals. There are humans in particular, but also the soul blight and things like that. And as I said earlier, the living tend to live in the center of the realm, where the magic around the rim is not so intense, and the world's a lot more stable. These people, as we saw in Nagash Undying King, they revere tradition above just about anything else. Necromancy is a part of their culture, not necessarily a faux pas. So you'll see them honor their dead by resurrecting them in terms of like being a skeleton, but actually has their mind and spirit attached to it. So this way their heroes and their leaders can walk amongst them. Right? You'll see a queen seek counsel from her long dead mother if she needs guidance on how to rule people. Or undead warriors that act as castle keeps and guards if they made a promise to protect the living. There's a lot of societies that integrate undead and living, and it makes for really, really cool stories. Again, in the beginning of Nagash Undying King, where I'm getting a lot of this lore from the main character of that story, her brother was killed, but was brought back as a skeleton, but he still had his full personality. But their society integrates those people rather than shunning them or pushing them away or manipulating them and using them as mindless soldiers. It's a great read. However, not all mankind and undead societies are healthy and, say, codependent. There is a city called the Garnost, which is a city that has the dead ruling the living, right? Mortals there are slaves, and the necromancers and skeleton warriors and white kings, all stuff, they rule over them as tyrants. They use the living to build monuments, and when they die, they're just chucked on a corpse cart. Now, no matter what kind of society you're living in, Shyish is a dangerous place. As I said before, living and chaos are all towards the center because that's where the most stability is happening, it's where most societies are built. But something has changed because Nagash has come back. After being struck down by Archaon, as we mentioned in the Nagash video, he set up his house in Nagashazar, which is like the capital city dead center of the realm. The problem with that is he's starting to draw a lot of death magic to him. So now the rims of the realm are dangerous, but also now the center is becoming less and less safe. And that puts the living there in a rock and a hard place. And it's mentioned in the Legions of Nagash that the mortals there can just taste the difference in the air. The winds of death are changing, and it's not a good thing. And that's kind of the lore that we're given with the Realm of Death. It sets us up for a great campaign series in Malign Portents, as well as giving a great backdrop for the Legions of Nagash. But as I do in all my videos, I want to stop and talk about why what we're told about this place makes it so fascinating and gripping as a setting. Well, this idea of it changing itself to kind of morph into what people's beliefs are is fascinating, right? Because that means people's perception of the afterlife is valid, but it is temporary, right? If all the people who believe in blank disappear or die, that realm will start to fade away and become assimilated into the realm of death that we know. We know that Nagash wants to become the supreme god of death, and to do that, he's still actively going around to these pocket realms and dominating, controlling everyone there, and binding them to his will. So it's going to be a non-ending job. It's never going to stop. He has to be number one. The part that I mentioned where mankind and the undead live together in a harmony, that is a deeply fascinating idea because this means that they have access to wisdom and knowledge throughout the ages. No one's reinventing the wheel. Society can progress a lot further if everyone is on board sharing information, right? And it adds a tie to their magic, the realm of death, that you don't see in other things. Like, you don't necessarily have even Sylvaneth talking to normal trees, right? Sylvaneth are a different species, but this is like something wholly different where a relative dies and you're still able to work with them, commune with them, they help you, they guard you, they fight with you, they teach you, those kinds of things. Like, the amount of cumulative knowledge, if mankind had access to all the stuff that we've lost through people dying, would be immense. And this kind of diversity of societies and how much you can vary in how much they know, what they don't know, how well guarded they are, those kinds of things, they create a thrilling backdrop for any faction that walks in there. Even if a society is generally peaceful in Shyish and the dead work with them and they're very, intelligent and reasonable and things like that, they're going to have vastly different reactions when they see a Stormcast drop in. Because these are people, even if, both those sides are good, the guys in Shyish are going to say, like, yo, you steal souls, right? That's what Stormcast Eternals are. And here's a society in Shyish that reveres the soul, binds it to the body it belongs to, but here's the Stormcast, which is totally different from that and kind of an affront to it. It's just really great narrative telling. They have a unique way of interacting with any faction that comes into Shyish. In addition to being thrilling, it also creates a sense of danger. There's danger everywhere because chaos is everywhere still. Your soulblight vampire overlords and the aristocracy are not nice people, as we've discussed before. You got raw death magic on the outer rims of the realm that you can't inhabit, and then you got Nagash building up a fort in the dead center of the thing, making that entire area increasingly more dangerous. And in addition to that, of course, you have other tribes and other survivors who are fighting for resources that are very scant in this realm. One thing that it comes across very heavily in the Shyish section of the Legions of Nagash book, as well as the Malign Importance book, is the kind of emphasis on pocket realms. It's a big theme in these books, and it opens up a lot of narrative space. Right? Can our heroes meet the people they thought are dead? Meaning, like, if your free guild here believes in this type of afterlife, can they go there and see their relatives? Would they recognize them? I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. Imagine if you took a realm gate that led to a pocket realm and you have to fight your way upward to the main Shyish level plane. You would have to pass through several types of afterlife, and that would be so fascinating to go on that kind of roller coaster ride. It'd be mind-bending. And frankly, no other realm that we've visited so far, I feel like personally, conveys the feeling of the magic it represents, right? This is the afterlife, right? If this were Greek mythology, this is Hades. This is where souls go, no question. And it makes it an epic place that really embodies the kind of themes that we're diving headlong into with Malign Importance and just Legions of Nagash in general. And folks, those are my thoughts on why the Realm of Death, Shyish itself, is such an awesome, awesome place. And if you have an Age of Sigmar lore question, I would love to answer it. Go ahead and click subscribe and leave it in the comments down below. I'm taking this week to look at the Legions of Nagash book. I have a few more videos for the death stuff coming out here, but after that I'll be back to answering your questions and using them as inspiration for future videos. If you want to support this channel, go ahead and share this video with a friend or on Facebook, Reddit, wherever you want to share it. It means so much to me when people spread my content. And if you'd like to support me in a more personal way, head over to the 2+ Tough store down in the signature below. And I actually have a gaming mat that I themed in the Realm of Death itself that is going to be perfect for Malign Importance campaign coming up. It really gives the colors and feel of the realm that we were just talking about. I have a limited quantity and I'm not making any more, so go ahead and grab yours today. And if you can't do that, I completely understand. I am just so thankful that you spent some time with me here today. And I look forward to seeing you in my next Age of Sigmar lore video. Thank you so much for watching, and happy wargaming.